Ciao.
Counterproductive in terms of sales. I've heard a lot of people in the sales area say if they want it bad enough, they will pay anything for it. But
Inquisition podcast.
Like that, but different. Boy, that'd be weird though, wouldn't it? If you could program a podcast to just start playing whenever you wanted it to, not the listener.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of crazy.
Get on that, Apple.
Yeah, they aren't listening. Tom Merritt's here with us, everybody. You know Tom Merritt. He's the host of Good Day Internet. Is Good Day Internet its own show, or is that a pre-show to something else? Because I get confused. You've got like
it is both.
Okay.
It is the Twitch stream and the patron exclusive audio expanded show of Daily Tech News Show.
Oh, that's interesting. So you wouldn't call that a podcast then, because it's like a Patreon exclusive. There's no RSS feed.
I mean, there's the Patreon RSS feed, but yeah.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But not just out there for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. We're not talking about the whole Apple podcast thing this week. Kind of wish we were. Maybe I'll have you back on to talk about it some other time.
You should talk to management about that.
To whom?
You made it sound like I kind of wish we were, but I have no control over this.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. No, I talked about it. Last week with Rob Walsh. I talked about it before when Apple actually had the event where they announced it. Of course, we still haven't seen the whole paid thing happen yet. Mm-hmm. So we'll just, that'll be another thing for another thing. Because it's not up to me what news is on Monday, Tom Merritt. The way this show works, I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to talk about at least one thing that they actively want to talk about. And so what I do on Monday is I turn the show over to the guest and I say, hey, I know stuff that's news to me, but I'm curious. In this case, it would be Tom. I'm curious, Tom, what's news to you?
Well, I was fascinated all last week by the entire Colonial Pipeline attack, the ransomware attack. I've been banging the drum warning about ransomware, both on Daily Tech News Show and in my Tech Republic videos for a long time. I'm not alone. There's plenty of other people with louder, bigger drums banging that ransomware warning drum.
I love the idea, though, that you might think it's just you. Yes, I told everybody, alone. Why didn't they listen?
Well, I was the one who warned you. So I wasn't surprised when I saw that Colonial Pipeline had been a victim of ransomware, but I was intrigued to learn about the propagators. There are many propagators of ransomware. Generally, they don't want to be noticed. And so that's why they don't attack hospitals. They love to say it's because we're ethical and we don't want to hurt people. It's because they don't want to be noticed. Ransomware works best for the criminal when it locks something up, the company panics, pays them off quickly, and they go away. And then the FBI comes in and investigates, but there's not much to tell. When you attack something as big as the pipeline that supplies gas to 45% of the east coast of the United States, you're going to get attention.
Right.
And so I'm still very curious, and I don't know, maybe by the time someone listens to this, they'll have figured it out, but I'm still very curious why this happened. I have a few different theories. One is accident, because ransomware gets out there through email attachments, malicious websites, phishing attacks. Sometimes it hits the wrong target because somebody got something that they shouldn't have through email and opened it up, right? Mm-hmm. So it's possible it was that. Also, this was what was really intriguing is DarkSide, the group that is believed to have been behind the ransomware attack, is ransomware as a service. They're an organization of experienced ransomware people from other ransomware organizations who got together to have affiliates where they would say, we'll provide the off-the-shelf software, we'll provide support, we'll do the negotiations for you, and you just rake in the dough. And so I'm wondering if an affiliate got a little too ambitious because some other associated ransomware groups, particularly REvil, have now announced that they will not allow their affiliates to attack healthcare, education, or government oriented targets. So I'm wondering if some affiliate just applied this in a way that DarkSide wasn't aware of. But back to my point about you don't want to get noticed, Friday, DarkSide servers were seized by law enforcement, and we don't know if this was law enforcement or someone else, but a lot of the money in their accounts, I would call them bank accounts, but they're probably just cryptocurrency accounts, got drained. They got hacked and lost a bunch of their money. And so DarkSide is shutting down because of this, which, again, you don't want to get noticed because then you have to shut down. They're not going to go away. They're going to, go off the radar for a while, rework their brand, come up with some new software, and then rise under another name. But they have to do a bunch of work to become untraceable at this point.
All right. I got like 9 questions. And let me start with, does this not sound like somebody ripping off a William Gibson novel?
Yeah, reality is imitating art.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because it's weird to me. Like, I feel like if you went into Hollywood and you pitched a movie, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if you went to some studio and pitched a movie where somebody is running ransomware as a service, they'd laugh you out because you can't run a business that way. I mean, short of the mafia or something like that. I don't understand how they even knew where to find their servers. I mean, there's no way that this can be anything like legal. How is it that they're, set up enough that I'm thinking, that Tom Merritt's going to piss me off. I think I'm going to hold him for ransomware, but I don't know how. I'm going to call my friends at DarkSide.
You get on the Onion router or some other way. You find the dark web.
Yeah.
You go to the dark web site of DarkSide. You get in the chat. You open an account on Bitcoin. You pay them some money, and
all right,
and you launch it. And even with all of that crypto, something is hosted somewhere, right?
Right.
There have to be servers, and so law enforcement. Somebody was able to get in there. There's some theories that some of the Tor endpoints aren't as secure as people thought, and so maybe that I'm making the connection of like, oh, maybe that Tor endpoint problem is how they were able to get at them. There could be other ways. There could be just good old fashioned, what do you call it when you just trick someone? It's called phishing when they do it to you, but what's it called when law enforcement, just works a source and gets the information, gets on the inside. That kind of thing.
I don't know the answer to your question.
There's a name for that. Now I can't get it. But it could be that. But I mean, DarkSide also had press outreach where they would invite press to contact them, and they would and they were very responsive. They promised a less than 24-hour response to any press question where they could talk about, the embarrassing data that they had on people, because that was a way to fulfill on the threat of, you pay us the ransomware. Not only, if you don't pay us the ransomware, not only does your data stay locked, but we'll embarrass you with the data we took,
right?
Because they always take data too. And so that was another thing that happened. Is weirdly on Monday, DarkSide went quiet. They stopped answering press calls.
Right. When you said that this might have happened accidentally, that somebody gets an email, they click on a thing, and then oops. The problem is there's still somebody at the other end, right? Are you saying that some of the ransomware stuff is automated? Like, once I click on the email, even if somebody wanted to look at it and go, oh no, we didn't mean him.
Yeah. So there's lots of different ways that could happen, but just one plausible way is you've got the malicious software at a malicious website, and you're trying to get your target at I don't know, let's say your target at small mom and pop software as a service store to click on it. So you send it to someone at small mom and pop, hoping they click on it, right? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So you send it to a bunch of people at small mom and pop. Well, turns out small mom and pop has an employee who's married to somebody at Colonial Pipeline. And that person's working from home just like everybody else. And they're on their spouse's computer, and they click on a thing, and it opens a malicious website and installs the malicious software. And then when Colonial Pipeline spouse goes and logs into Colonial Pipeline, the malicious software goes, hey, there's a great server. Let me infect that one. And there you go.
Is there any chance, and you maybe can't answer this question, but it's interesting to me that you're almost seeing this as an oops. Is there any chance that this was other nation state activity? And I don't mean somebody in Russia doing this, but is it possible that somebody, because you're right. I mean, it made things insane in the southeastern part of the U.S., not as insane as a year ago when you couldn't find toilet paper or bread or beef. you know, when we went into lockdown. But I mean, you had people lining up for gas. You had people filling, you know, ridiculous amounts as if they need that much gas over the next, you know, 10 or 15 days or however long it is. You had a certain amount of unrest generated by this. I mean, is there any chance that was actually the point, or you really think it was just an accident?
Nothing is impossible. And certainly that scenario could have been a plan of a nation state actor or an advanced persistent threat. But all the security people that I read say this doesn't look like how that would happen. Okay. That this is not the kind of attack that you would see if it was an APT. It would be a lot more subtle. It will be a lot more difficult to trace. That the software that was used to implement the ransomware is in fact the software that DarkSide uses. DarkSide seems to have been like, yeah, that was us. Sorry, you know, with a statement they put out on Monday that all but took responsibility. I mean, it didn't definitely take responsibility, but it said, hey, our affiliates are not allowed to do stuff, and we don't want to target people like this, and all we want to do is make money over here. Okay, so it really has all the signs of this being either they bit off more than they could chew, it succeeded more than they expected. They didn't think Colonial would react by shutting down the pipeline because they were only going after the business information systems. That's part that I skipped over, but they only were able to lock up the IT systems like the email and stuff. They didn't get into the actual control systems of the pipeline. And maybe DarkSide thought like, oh yeah, we'll just lock up their email system and they'll get freaked out, but didn't anticipate that they would then lock down the control systems just to be safe, which is what they did.
Here's what's really cool though. We're a nation of totally level-headed people. So there was no panic. There was no unrest. I mean, it's a good thing that we all kept our heads.
Yeah. Everybody just calmly went about hoarding gasoline, even though there was plenty of it.